What's up, Elder Scrolls Nation? Skullzi here. I have some news that is pretty interesting, possibly big, possibly not. But either way, I haven't really seen anyone else mentioning this or even talking about this, so I wanted to share it with you today. What I found is another piece of evidence about that elusive Starfield rumor, the supposed Bethesda game that has been lurking around for a couple years now. Now, before I get into this, so far it seems that most evidence points towards the Starfield rumor being false. However, what I just recently found make things kinda weird. In case you don't know much about this rumor, I'll quickly go ahead and cover every possible piece of information there is to know about it to date. That way I can quickly save you the time from doing that Google grind of having to find all this shit out for yourself. Because who the fuck wants to do that? Oh yeah, me, apparently. So, the Starfield rumor comes to us from where most cancerous things emerge from, 4chan. The original rumor came out back in early 2016, almost 2 years ago. The original post has been long deleted, but I'll read it word for word what it said. The original poster said that he was supposedly, or she was supposedly, a Bethesda Game Studios employee, and you can take that for what you will. I'm a leaker at Bethesda, and I wanted to lay out their plans for the future for you guys, and give you some pre-E3 leaks. Firstly, I'm speaking only about Bethesda Game Studios here, not the publisher. There will be a few announcements at E3. One is a major new title from Bethesda themselves as well. The two major announcements are Fallout 4 and Starfield. They are working on Skyrim VR as well, but they aren't sure if they are going to show it yet since they don't want to take the light away from Fallout 4 VR or Starfield. Now onto Starfield. The game has actually been in conceptual stages since around Fallout 3's release, and went into pre-production officially, very low tier pre-production after Skyrim's release, and after Fallout 4's release, it went to full pre-production. There's a lot of pre-production stages here. Anyway, after all the DLC was out for Fallout 4, they went into full development. The game is going to be a sci-fi open-world RPG in a typical Bethesda first-person shooter fashion. It's going to feature 5 to 10 races, which seems the norm for a Bethesda RPG game. There's still some debate in what should and shouldn't go in, and takes place in the Fallout universe just so far into future and far away from Earth that it'll only be mentioned in hints. That's not perfect English, but what I think he's trying to say is that people are wondering on just when this game will take place because Fallout 4 takes place on Earth, supposedly. So if they're trying to link Elder Scrolls and Fallout 4, when in Earth's history does Elder Scrolls World exist? Elder Scrolls World. This part of an ongoing planned interconnected universe of every Bethesda franchise. They gave hints of this by implying the Brotherhood of Steel created Nirnroot in Fallout 4. I don't know if we're supposed to take that seriously or not, or if that was just kind of like a joke, but this guy seems to say it was something to take seriously. Anyway, I'll go on and keep reading. They're getting a little wacky with the lore, and using Elder Scrolls time wounds to justify lore inconsistencies. Okay, Elder Scrolls time wounds. This leak is it just seems kinda a little too crazy and Doctor Who-ish at this point. Basically, Fallout is the beginning of the timeline, Starfield is the middle, and Elder Scrolls is far in the future. So they're trying to say that Starfield brings together all of the Bethesda Game Studios games into one big massive universe. Kind of like how they're trying to say that Ubisoft games are all linked, Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and Watch Dogs. I don't know. I don't think that is gonna happen, really. I mean, they put a lot of work into the lore for Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls goes way back to Todd Howard playing D&D. I mean, it was all a big D&D campaign that they spent days and days and days of their lives building. They didn't really do that for Fallout lore. They bought the rights to Fallout. I don't know, I just don't see them connecting Fallout and Elder Scrolls and then using a space RPG as the bridge between them. That just sounds kinda stupid, to be honest. The leak goes on to say the game will feature space travel and hub worlds as well as RNG worlds. It's meant to be a test into more sandbox Minecraft-ish AAA thing, kinda like, what's that stupid game, No Man's Sky, but with Bethesda gameplay and still actual designed worlds, quests, etc. They have another fantasy game of a famous franchise in the works, Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's not true, and then he goes on to say Elder Scrolls 6, which, whatever. This whole leak is just pretty stupid as it is. I mean, the game Starfield in itself sounds kind of exciting, but when you just take the leak for what it is, it sounds like some kid just smoked a little too much Nirnroot and is just like going off the handle on something that he probably saw some connection in, and I don't think it's true. I don't think this stuff's true, man. But I mean, you can see there's just a lot of weird shit here. Normally just reading this alone I'd call bullshit and walk away, which I did originally way back then. Although I did mention how badass this game would kinda actually be, separate from trying to connect all the timelines. I think that would just seem too forced. One thing to note though, it seems that this leak actually, accurately predicted Skyrim VR, even though back then Skyrim VR was kind of being hinted at. It wasn't actually just out being talked about, I don't think so. But other than that, there isn't much credible evidence here. One big clue is that the game wasn't announced this year at 2017's E3 event, like it supposedly was supposed to be, and the other clue may be just how strong the scent of bullshit is from this rumor, although that scent might actually just be 4chan itself. The next event surrounding Starfield happened a couple years later, actually this year in 2017 at E3 when Starfield was supposedly going to be announced. In a post-E3 interview, Pete Hines was questioned about a few things, everything from Skyrim VR to Elder Scrolls 6 and even about the Starfield rumor. Now normally, Bethesda wouldn't even comment on rumors like this, as they find them trivial and they don't want to start a trend of answering questions about rumors, because, think about it, let's say a rumor came out about something that was true. They wouldn't want to answer it, so they would just kind of ignore it. But then if a rumor came out about something that was false, they would probably debunk it. Normally they just stay away from it because it could set a precedent that people could look into to try and tell if Bethesda was telling the truth or not, and they don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. So it's kind of weird that they even commented on this rumor to begin with, but Pete Hines graced us with an answer, quickly debunking the rumor in full force. He says they were posing as Bethesda folks. He basically says that they probably found their trademark and started spouting off some stuff about this and that and just tried to start a big hoax and get some hype up about nothing that was actually going on. He then goes to say that he's not in a position to jump in and pour water on every rumor, but he's sorry that people got swept up in that rumor and believed that it was true. Now, I'll speak on that trademark thing here in a little bit, but keep in mind that PD McPete has straight up told us some bullshit before stating that they weren't even working on Fallout 4, and then announcing months later. So take all this with a grain of salt. He could just be kind of telling us one thing, that way it'll bring the attention away from what's actually going on. The next and kind of final thing for a while to happen revolving around Starfield happened on 4chan again. Hooray, cancer. And again, somebody supposedly from Bethesda Game Studios wanted to leak some information on their faces. This big old leaky McLeaks has since been deleted, but the original post was put up in October. It stated that in late October, Starfield would be announced and that the game would be out in December. Yay! And it's December. And where the fuck is Starfield? Yeah, so as you can see, no matter how exciting and awesome Starfield may or may not sound to you, all the evidence is mounted against it, including Bethesda themselves debunking the rumors entirely, which they normally never freaking do. So I think the Starfield rumor is false, not true. Negative, yes. Until I found this. Then I didn't know what to think. Now, like I said, there has always been one interesting thread of truth to the Starfield rumor. Maybe if the leak was false, it's where the inspiration for the original 4chan leak post came from, which is what Pete Hines was kind of talking about, or maybe the leak has been true all along and this piece of evidence confirms it. The name Starfield didn't just come from nowhere. ZeniMax Studios, who is Bethesda's publishing parent company, registered the trademark for the name Starfield back in early April of 2014. Don't believe me? Here's the actual trademark that you can look up for yourself. Now, some of you may have seen this before, but let's take a look at it. One interesting thing about this, it tells you here that pretty much all this information says it's, electronic game programs, downloadable computer game software via the internet, entertainment services, It's a game. It's pretty much for a video game or something like a video game. It's for a video game, essentially, is what this is. Here you can see ZeniMax Media. That's Bethesda Game Studios publishing company. They publish all their games, and they are the same company as Bethesda. They're one and the same. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You can see that this was originally filed, or at least that the new application was filed, in April of 2016. However, Bethesda has been paying particular attention and wanting to make sure that they held the rights to this freaking name Starfield for one reason or another, because they did not only extend the trademark once, but twice, most recently in September of this year, 2017. So a lot of companies will buy trademarks that they may want to use in the future, that way no other game company or any other company in general will buy that name. They may just think of a really awesome name and go like, oh man, that name would make a really cool name for a band, but what if Johnny McJohnPants thinks of it first? We need to make a trademark so he can't do it. So they kind of do that. So Bethesda went over and they trademarked Starfield. But it seems like they're paying particular attention and wanting to make sure that they have the rights to this name. So yeah, it could be that the 4chan rumor did stumble upon this somehow and base their rumor all off this, just to kind of like, you know, play off something that's kind of true and mysterious and maybe get some views, and then, you know, yay for you, you got views off bullshit. Or it could be that rumor might be just a little bit true, and that this piece of information confirms it. Personally, this is weird. I mean, this situation is kind of unique because originally it seems like it's full of crap and that it's just a big old poop fuck, but then Bethesda has to go and screw with their minds by registering trademarks and shit. So I don't know what to think about this. I think it's still kind of full of crap. I don't know if I believe it, but it just sounds like it could be such a good game. If you take out all the trying to tie together the universes of Elder Scrolls and freaking Fallout together, I think it just seems like it would be a fun freaking game. I mean, Bethesda Game Studios making a game that has elements of Elder Scrolls and Fallout in it. I mean, just their style of gameplay, and it going from planet to planet, having a crew on a ship, it just sounds like it could be cool. But what I want to know is what you think about this rumor. Do you think it's a poop fuck? Do you think it's true? Are you excited for it? Do you think that I should just start throwing glass at the wall so hard that it ricochets and bounces and gets in my eyes? What do you think I should do? If you like hearing about all this kind of stupid stuff, make sure you like and do all that cringy YouTuber stuff. You know, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss stuff. But anyway, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for watching.